Well, great to see you, Sunshine. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Doing all right. How
So, I got this thing with Virgos.
do you?
You know, I had Robert Phoenix. I told you that. He was a guest on my other channel.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Virgo. You're a Virgo. My ex, my first, I can't say love of my life because then after him, I found another love of my life. And then,
But he was your first.
but, um, he was a Virgo and he was a game changer. My experience, it wasn't just him. It was like everything, the Saturn return between like 28, 29, 30, 32. So yeah, I went through massive learning lessons and shit. But again, here's what I like to make very clear to everybody in the tarot, astrology, new wave, new age, spiritual community. If we really went down the rabbit hole of that everything is a simulation, if we actually went to the reality of the fact that we're not living in a reality, does it make sense to you?
If we're living in the reality that
There is no reality.
Yeah.
It's all like a virtual,
Yeah.
In quantum physics, right? There is no reality. And it's funny how I forget which group of the Native American Indians, you know what I mean? Like which tribe and whatnot. But I don't know if it was all of them right now at this moment, but they would say that dreams are the real thing and that this reality is not.
Mm-hmm.
So, according to my experience, this is not real. I've had outer body experiences, my sense of kinetic, psychic ability, when I see things, I think psychic is a word that you use to explain something you can't. Like, why can you see the future? Because it's all faded. Just you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I am psychic. I was born this way, highly intuitive, to the point that I was always getting punished, in trouble, shut down, beat up. You get me? Oppressed, you name it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that, meaning, everyone's gifted. Everyone has the ability. But, some of us, it's just so loud and clear from a very young age. Okay, fine. But then, how do you explain to people? And I remember trying to explain to my best friends of over 20 years. And it was specifically during the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
And probably like 10 years, 12 years ago. And I said, listen, and I was trying out, like I was giving little morsels to try to explain myself without sounding crazy. Because you always sound crazy when you don't fit the norm, or when they can't understand you, you're automatically the crazy person. Just saying. Mm-hmm. And I mentioned how being in my skin, especially as the evolution of my experiences kept confirming that there is no real reality, like this construct.
It's just our consciousness trying to make sense of like
exactly the frequency and the vibrations is how these eyes were built to see it. Exactly. It's really that simple. Mm-hmm. So I mentioned how, I hear voices and this and that, right? And so my friends, and they're pretty open-minded, and they're open-minded to the point like, hey, they do believe that people have a sense of intuition that others don't. But they're pretty like neutral. Like they're not religious, right? And they're intellectuals. They love pulling out the, back in the day before the internet, pulling out the encyclopedia and the dictionaries and whatnot, and like going down the meanings of things. And like, so they're great debaters. Mm-hmm. And this year, and this one particular year, I said, guys, think about the fact that it's all faded and the reality is not real.
Did they even know what you meant by that?
Well, that's the thing, that when they were with me, they were following me until the moment that I was saying, I'm at a point where everybody's crazy, or a lot of people are crazy, like, and I know it, and I can't fit in because I'm looking in it's almost like you're looking at the outside. So basically, if you're not the zombie and everybody else around you is zombies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or most people, not everybody. And my girlfriend, who's a Scorpio, snapped right back at me. She's older, and she goes, and she's Spanish, and she goes, hey. She goes, who's to say what I think is that you're the crazy one? Because she was also the way she took the way I delivered it because of her point of view and her level of consciousness and her belief system. She literally responded like snapping at me because she took it as I say I'm better, I'm more special, and that she's stupid because she can't see. And I wasn't at all.
Okay.
I was trying to get love from someone I thought loved me.
Or just understanding.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. You weren't trying to attack her by any means.
No. But I understood why she did. But that's my point, that now, and that's years ago. Now, let's forward, or let's just now, just remember that example to today's, social media platforms that didn't exist before. Where they have evolved since their first launch, right? And then the YouTube community. And then especially like whoever was the first person that started reading cards or astrology for whoever, obviously famous people and stuff like that. Yeah. And then where it is today, where TikTok has, okay. Now everybody's got an opportunist. I don't blame them. Everybody wants to eat. Now, maybe somebody out there on TikTok or any social media that they are performing anything to do with readings, manifestation, law of attraction, any new agey thing. I'm sure there's people out there that really don't need to do it for a living, and they just literally do it because they love it. They're addicted to the social media and sharing whatever gifts that they have. Sure. But the problem is, and this is what it's not talked about in the community, is, and this is my life strategist side of me, where don't you see that the observer, just by mere observation, you change the outcome and the perception of that thing. And there's science to back that up. So your audience is telling you what it wants. So you can't possibly be giving the truth.
Yeah.
If you're delivering what the audience wants.
Well, the audience always wants to hear good, positive things too. So they're holding back, obviously, the bad, disruptive, anything along those lines.
And they're also continuing the insecurities, the addiction, because the whole point, I think it's great to explore with divination to see, like when you use a pendant, right? Yeah. To get a yes or no. But also they've used wooden sticks to find water in wells. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is to be open-minded, to find out, to connect, to get answers can come in many different ways and forms. But to the level of where this industry has gotten, where they've become woke. And I actually would like to do a survey. I'm actually going to put a poll up, but again, I don't even know how many people are actually getting notifications on this YouTube channel. But I would like to know, what side of the political fence are they on? What do you think off the top of your head or your instinct? Do you feel like most people because it's a very small genre on YouTube for all the tarot readers and astrologers. So who do you think are watching them the most?
I feel like it's all liberals.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's some fucked up shit. Well, I hope that those who have been following me on my channel and watched me do the readings during 2020 that I was doing just to pass the time and get everybody to get through it, hopefully in the best empowering, supportive way possible. But I remember always in my readings, I'm like, hey, I'm telling you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Not what you want to hear.
Well, that's the thing. People don't want to share the things that are negative or whatever, or have an opposing view of their own. They're not going to share that. They might give you a like or something, but some people are too set in their ways to even, as soon as you say something that does not fit in their perspective view of reality, they're gonna swipe away and click the next video.
But it's funny, right? But funny how you said that. If it's not in their reality.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's my point. Like, why can't we talk about the fact that why everything's always like 5 ways to do this, manifest this. This is what you shouldn't do. Here's a. How about this? How about? I have to correct myself. How about reality? Right? Like, how about let's talk about reality?
Like what's actually
reality. Why are we sitting here giving more strings to puppets? Meaning we're all influenced by the media, by our peers, our parents, our coworkers. You know what I mean? Society in so many ways.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see a trend where let's talk about reality. Whenever I've talked about quantum physics, they know what the word means, typically, but they don't know shit about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And again, quantum physics even proves that just observation of the thing, it automatically goes, like, they don't have the answers.
Yeah. That's a cool study, that one.
Yeah. But so what's the point on doing divination? Like when you and I were doing the murder case and predicting what's going to happen, which they still, right? We did the Idaho murder reading. Both you and I used our styles and on live stream, and it's yet to be released. But I know that we're right. But why are we going to be right? And I know that's bold, because how many honest to God people are like, here's a prediction of this, and then you go back a year later, or year 4, you know what I'm saying, and you're like, they were right about this or that, but not all this. I know for a fact, without a shadow of a doubt, that we described the person who did it.
Yeah. And
how they're going to get caught, I don't remember how much detail we gave, but we kind of gave something to that. So, that yet to be, we'll get to that bridge, right, when they get there, when they catch the guy, because they will catch him. Or I don't even know now if I feel like he's going to, and I keep saying he's going to turn himself in, because his ego can't handle the fact that they haven't discovered him yet.
Yeah, well, we did mention in that video that...
or he was a cop or something. Did we not say that?
We did say, well, I said he's probably, like, a person of authority, so...
You said that. Yeah.
That's
I'm so glad you remember that.
And we also said, it would we would find answers in the full moon. And I mean, it didn't happen the last full moon, but maybe it will be on or around a full moon that they do find this guy. We didn't say that it had to be the next one.
But my thing is, how can you predict the future if reality doesn't exist? Did I tell you the other day I rewatched a movie I haven't watched since it came out, I think in 2014, 2015, Interstellar? Did you watch that one with Matthew McConaughey?
Yeah, I've seen that, yeah.
How many times have you seen it?
Like all the way through 3 times, and then I've watched like parts of it, here and there. But like sat down, hit play, watched it all the way through like 3 times.
Wow. I only did twice.
It's a long movie.
And many years apart. So what did you get from that movie? How about the lie?
There's just a lot to unpack.
Unpack from that movie.
And I feel like even watching it 3 times, like I would have to sit there and watch it 10 times for me to actually like grasp half of the concepts. I don't know. Like what part specifically? Like what, give me like a plot point that you're like, how about this?
Well, remember, time and space. Time and space. Specifically how the director
manipulated
and showed like the lines and the crosses and like the dimension he's in.
Okay.
And how he tried to communicate with her. That always obviously resonates with divination.
I do.
She was trying to figure out like a Morse code, right? Like how to communicate with something that was truly, really trying to communicate. That's the way I describe my psychic abilities.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like, you know how some people say, my guides speak to me? Listen, I don't like to fuck with that because honestly, I know too much about Satanism and witchcraft. And
Yeah.
so when you say guides, I mean, how do you know your guides are benefic or benevolent,
Yeah.
that they're truly angels? I don't know unless the person says so. Like
Mhm.
I've had a Reiki healer say that she literally works with Archangel Michael.
Hmm.
And that she evokes him whenever she's doing a cleaning, a reading, a Reiki session.
Yeah.
And she knows him by color and feeling and everything. And I believe her because whenever I invoke angels, if I say Archangel Michael, I get a whole different feeling than when I say Archangel Gabriel.
Hmm.
And I can tell as soon as I say it, usually within the first time. But say I'm a little too clouded or tired or whatever, I might have to say their name once, 2 or 3 times.
Someone just called me. I don't know why that always takes me out of it. I'll wait for you to come back before I say anything. Did that kick you out too?
Yes.
Someone just called me. Like I got like a scam call.
Oh my God. Here I'm thinking it's the angels.
No. Well, I don't know why it kicked you out too.
What?
I don't know why.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Maybe
That's never happened.
Yeah. Usually my screen I just can't. I'm like muted for that call. Oh well, weird. So you're saying you get a different feeling between who's coming.
A different. What do you mean?
Like you get it between Archangel Michael versus Gabriel. You're like,
Yeah. So these entities exist. They do.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you are not a believer, when I pray for somebody and they don't believe in it, they do. If I say, "Do you feel this? Do you feel this? Do you sense this?" They'll say yes. So again, with the belief system, that's literally what they say in life coaching, empowerment coaching, or even psychology. They call it limited beliefs, that your problems are limited beliefs. Like, for example, that I look at the stars. I do.
Mm-hmm.
Both of us, we do that, right? And so if I'm having a hard day or something, I can 9 times out of 10, it's right. It's in the stars.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you're gonna have problems at home. Boom.
Yep.
Here's the moon in Capricorn in the 4th house.
Yep.
Right. But then, see, that's where this shit gets deeper, because if it's all fated, and if I was meant to have, say, difficult relationships, that's it. Yet, according to astrology, you're supposed to learn, or at least own your karma, and then, do your best with it, and then move on. And I'm going, F that.
Yeah.
Like, why do I have to keep coming back here? Why do I have to keep this fucking game? Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think the key to that, I mean, it's still very messy, but the key to that is just your perspective makes a whole difference. I don't know where I read that quote, but I was little when I like saw this quote. It was like, you don't need to change anything but your perspective in life, and then that is like the key.
It's totally. But again, then we have our mental habits.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you think things are always difficult for you, even if you're like being positive, like, no, I have help, even if you pray every day, that inner dialogue is so strong.
Mm-hmm.
It's like once we plant that seed from childhood.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you could. That's all. Like you can you can say out loud, like, I'm gonna have a positive day. But if there's any little tiny thought in your head that you won't, or you're stuck on this path of negativity, then you're not fully changing your perspective, and you're not fully, I don't want to use the word manifesting, but you're not living that reality of, this positive life, because you have that little grain of salt that's like, nope, you're still just stuck on this negative path.
So how do you feel when you talk about these subjects with your coworkers and whoever you deal with that at
Um,
your age?
I would say there's two sides of it. There's people who are like, oh, get your Satanism shit out of my face with the pentagrams and all that bullshit. That's stupid. I don't care what sign you are, just, stop talking. And then there's people that are like, yes, like, keep speaking, keep talking. I want to take in everything that you're saying. Your perspective is different than mine, and I'm open to that. And here's what I think. But there's never like an in between of like, oh yeah, I kind of get that. Don't really think that way, but all right. It's always like I'm gonna shut the book in your face and walk away, or I'm open to whatever you're saying. That's just like my generation, and I'm thinking of like a couple specific like coworkers and friends that I have. And there's some people that even like with the tarot cards, like three of my good friends do tarot card and tarot readings too. But then like, for example, my boyfriend, whenever I pull these things out, he's like, oh God, here you go again with this Satan shit. Like, and it's just like, okay, if you don't believe it, if you don't get it, fine. But this is how I communicate with myself, my reality, my life. I don't know. This is my like connection.
We've talked about this many times, but so we talked about maybe doing a New Year's reading, but you have to go. I know we both have to go.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, so today's the 28th. If we meet up next week, I guess New Year's Eve is Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday, yeah, is the eve. So Sunday's the 1st.
So I'm gonna have to change the subject to this to this video.
It's not Bill Gates anymore.
No. I mean, because I'm still on a Bill Gates kick on my other channel. Because again, I just cannot believe how people still don't want to admit truth. Meaning the media's lying all the time. The TV hosts on TV shows from NBC, ABC, CNN, they're all propaganda.
Yeah. They're
like,
all scripted.
They should know automatically that if those people say it, like, oh, there's nobody getting injured. Oh, no. Everybody with a jab, that's why Whoopi didn't die, because she got jabbed and she got crotch 19 twice. And they're saying that, but she didn't die. Like,
The only thing I have to say about all of that shit on TV is it's called the entertainment industry for a reason. And if it wasn't entertaining, they wouldn't make money. And there wouldn't be an industry.
Yeah, but this is people's lives. Their livelihood. Again, all those people, you can't come in anywhere, and then don't let them fly if they don't get the jab, and blah, blah, blah. And now they're all taking it back. But they're putting like little short clips, but they're not blaring it. I keep using the George Floyd example. That shit should be fucking blaring everywhere. How are they living with themselves knowing that people are dying? And they always say, of course, there's always going to be like a 1% kind of a,
yeah,
that get injured or can die from anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is not 1%. I mean, this is not like 10,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
And this is young people, healthy people, dropping dead, just like that. Walk in the middle of the field, middle of work, boom.
Mm-hmm.
All heart related.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get censored, us, whoever speaking publicly, we get censored on misinformation. Mm-hmm. So my point is, it's not about fairness and double standard. It's the evil that, see, if I talk like this and people are like, oh my God, how am I going to take her serious? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Is she a professional? She's a life strategist. And see, my soul is bigger than my mind and my career. You know what I mean? And how can I look at people in the face and truly have and be a real coach, an empowerment individual, if we can't talk about the elephant in the room, which is reality, right? And knowing who the bad guy is. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Forget even going down into the quantum physics. As you can see, I keep coming back to that.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's how important it is. We can't have any discussion. And the truth is, I'm okay. I'm okay. Some people don't want to be saved. Some people want to be euthanized. And they're selling it and prepackaging it. You want to take your life? Don't worry. No stigma here. We'll put you in a little capsule. You're good to go. No more suffering. You don't have to worry about paying your bills.
Yeah.
I get how that is tempting. Especially for people that don't want to do any of the work, who can't face reality.
Or the reality is boring and they don't.
Exactly.
Inspires them.
Exactly. But that's not good for society.
No.
If we even allow it, that brings our frequency down.
Because I call those people sponges, because they just soak up whatever they hear and see, and that becomes their reality, which is so far off from whatever anyone else wants to call a reality. Not saying anyone's right or wrong.
Yeah.
But to soak up the things you see and hear with no questions asked is terrible.
Yeah. By the way, you look beautiful today. I meant to say that from the beginning. Your hair.
I braided it and went to bed. So
I love it. How many braids did you put in?
I just did 2. My hair's really thick, so it holds very well.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't mean to change subject. That was really good what you just said, because that's what I mean. Like, I feel like the reality is, if you want to real empowerment, you've got to have the cojones, you got to have the bone. But like I said, even when I talk to people in my circle of friends that I've known for years, you know, they just want to escape. Whether it's a pill, whether it's a drink, whether it's a joint, they're fine. They got their Netflix, as long as they can pay their bills, as long as they got the heat on. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it doesn't make it happiness.
So flat, yeah.
But it's easier to do that than to go, oh shit, you know, let me focus on how the government
is manipulating,
and the fact that I'm paying these bills, this cable.
Yeah.
That wants me to be dead and to use me and abuse me.
Some people just don't even like to think about it because it's a hard subject to think about. They'd rather be like oblivious to it, which I get.
But that's the thing, you can't escape it.
Yeah.
It's like if you're living with a pedo and you're like, maybe he's not a pedo, but he has the whole record is there. He's a pedo, but you're like, but I'm an adult. I'm not a kid. What do you think is going to happen with that pedo?
Yeah.
Eventually, the pedo is going to bring somebody home, and you're going to be looking at it.
Yeah.
You allowed it, and then what are you going to do then?
Yeah.
I mean, I know it sounds like an extreme example, but isn't it the truth? Like, for example, how can you support Ukraine? Get this shit. Let me share this shit for you that came up into my other channel real quick before we go. Because I literally screenshotted it. Here we go. Do you see this? Due to the war in Ukraine, we will pause monetization of content that exploits, dismisses, or condones the war. Now think about it for a second. We're supposedly supporting the war. So you want us to support the war and back it up and use American taxpayer money, but you're not supposed to say that. Just think about how twisted this shit is. And then, and again, I can't be a really good life empowerment coach if we're not going to face the truth. Like, that's the first step you do.
It's
with addiction.
It's so messy.
Dude, that exploits or dismisses. Again, define dismiss. So if I say, so even like, again, whether we're doing a psychic reading, whether we're having a nice conversation, I can't dismiss but exactly what do you mean by dismiss? It's so general, so vague.
Yeah.
But the condones the war. You guys are using American money and other people's money anyway to support that war. So what you mean to say is that anybody who condones Russia, you tell me, what the hell does that mean to you? I didn't want to say hell. I don't ever use that word. Oh, that's weird. It must be because that negative energy from this freaking text that came through me. Tell me, what does that mean?
My Wi-Fi just cut out. What was the question? I heard the end of it.
You know, basically you can't make money off your videos if your content exploits, dismisses, or condones the war.
Well, that's just them. I like the metaphor you used about the puppet on strings. That's just them telling you what you can and cannot do to be successful in their terms.
Isn't that communism?
Pretty much.
No, it is. It's dictatorship, it's tyranny, it's communism. So the freedom that we were born into, so-called, because they've been chopping that up since 100 years ago. It's not new. It's taken all these years. But that means that you have to stand up to keep it, the freedoms. And for me, did they ask you if they should go to war? Did you give them permission?
Then no one asked me personally.
It's illegal. But see, I can't say anything like that. Why not?
Yeah.
What? It's not even about the First Amendment, because they're with this alone, and don't give me that they're defended by Section 230. It's a private company. Like, I get it. You come to my restaurant, you don't like my food, I have the right to kick you out. You know, or you don't like it, or whatever. I don't even need a reason. Get out.
Is they're trying to control the amount of opinion from the whole.
Well, think about it. What if we all stood up, grassroots, bottoms up, and we all stand up and we say, no, we're not going to pay you taxes.
Yeah.
How about that? What are you going to give them now?
Yeah.
Which is weird, because if you go down the rabbit hole, they don't even need that money. But see, they need us to back them up. Because what if we don't back them up?
They just need something to control, because without their sense of control, they are nothing.
But notice how they made sure that the riots for the protests of George Floyd, that happened real good.
Yeah.
But no one's protesting against this war.
Yeah.
They're all changing their flags.
They're trying to control like what is said about it, so that way people who are going to go against them and say something against what they want, they want to keep it far away from what they want everyone to think and hear.
But they already have all the tyranny. They already have all the, Homeland Security and everything. I mean, they can do whatever. Look at Jan 6. So the thing is, it's like a ticking bomb. And as a psychic, I know, and as an astrologer, I know that it's not me inciting it. It is a fact that even if you didn't have a divination or can look in the future, whether you're whatever divination tool you're using, inevitably, like the Roman Empire, for now, everybody's sitting down, but within months, by 2025, we'll be in a whole different world, or America for real, because this is not sustainable. You can't get blood out of a turnip. We all know that all the politicians are corrupt and fake and pretty much evil, very self-interest. They lie about everything. There's no purpose for politicians. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. The whole purpose is to get all the money from everybody who's working. That's their purpose. They don't have a fucking job. They don't do their job. These are facts. But what are we going to do? We're still so wrapped up into the left and the right. Now, the reason why I'm not trying to bring up politics here in this channel, but see, if we don't talk about what's happening in our world, I can't take you out of your world. I can't just give
Yeah.
you a reading and it's going to be beneficial to you if you can't see the world you're living in.
No, that's totally true. You gotta like, you have to.
Oh my God, you cut out. Can't hear you.
Okay.
It is what it is. You there? Well, you know
Yeah.
what? I think we should just wrap it up right there because I think I just
Yeah.
unloaded. But thank you for giving me, as usual, your perspective is priceless.
Mhm.
I mean, it's so funny how we're different. We understand each other, but we're different. I feel like, again, you're Virgo, you know,
Yeah.
your softness, your point of experience, where you're at. I think it's so important. And I think your generation, as messed up as I think it is, and I know it is, there's people like you in it that has given me such hope.
Yeah.
Not just hope. Like, I know we're going to have a good future, but we're going to have a shit show first.
Yeah. That's what I was just going to say. It's going to get worse before it's going to get better. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Everybody needs to stop being delusional and stop asking for personal readings. Is he going to call me? You got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah. No, I
You know what I
totally
mean? Like,
agree. It's less personal.
Sound the alarm. You smell the smoke. You get out.
Yeah.
You do something. Stop being so selfish and self-centered. Like, I feel like you're constantly like, you try to step back and like be in tune because you don't want to get caught off guard. That's my perception. Am I correct?
No, that's exactly correct. Try to stay away from all of it. Because the longer you sit near it, you're gonna end up soaking it in eventually. Like,
Yep.
if you're near all that shit.
Yep. Well, is there anything else you'd like to say, or what? How would you like to wrap up this session today?
I guess we'll see you next week with a reading for the whole year next year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know what? I actually believe that I get a more accurate reading when I'm reading days into the New Year's, kind of like the new moon, where I set my intentions. If I do it after 2-3 days later, it's better.
Yeah.
The results come out much more accurate and faster. Just it works. Yeah. So, all right. So I don't know. We'll talk about what next Wednesday, maybe. You let me know. This time though, I'm gonna post this days before.
Okay.
Because I always feel like people are not going to see it if I do it days before. And so I've been doing typically the day of and give people a couple hours so that it's like on the top of their feed. Gotcha. But I think at the same time, I want to try, especially for this, because having people live and having them ask questions.
Yeah.
I would advise that I'm going to do it early so they could put it in their calendar and set the reminder and the notification bell.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if you want real, then I think for the audience, you need to be watching us live and you need to be talking to us live.
This isn't going to be some sappy, everything will be fine in January and February, and then you're going to find love in March. Yeah, fuck all that bullshit.
Not that love is not all around all the time, but in different ways.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Let me know if you have a guest in mind or if you want to have a guest too. Even if they want to be like a guest, like where we read them.
Yeah. Just like chiming in.
Yeah. Like,
okay.
Well, I wanted to say like, the right word is not guinea pig, but you know what I mean? Like somebody who wants to join us live, face to face live, not on the comments.
Yeah.
And let's do like a live reading with somebody who has no idea. I don't know.
Someone who doesn't.
Or a friend of yours, or maybe, I don't know, one of your clients or something. Be like, hey, Olga, if you want a free reading, Olga and I are doing it for New Year's on a live stream if you're willing to show your face, because I want to get people's expressions,
Yeah.
because
Okay.
that's what you don't get in the comments.
Yeah.
I know we talk all this stuff and then we're like, here, all right, I'm gonna go.
Alrighty.
You have to go.
Thanks
It was
for
awesome seeing you.
Yes. Yes.
Much love. Happy. Looks like you were having a great holiday.
You
And
know.
I'll talk to you, everyone.
Bye.
Marissa. Much love, sweetheart. Talk to you
Bye.
soon. Thank you. Thank you for being here.